Some comedies they just never get old. You can practically hear the audience roaring with laughter 100 years ago.
Absolutely.
And the play we're diving deep into today is, well, it's one of those. It's Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest, and it's every bit as witty and sharp today as it was in the late Victorian era.
Oh, a fantastic choice. And to everyone listening, whether you're revisiting this gem or encountering it for the very first time, oh, you are in for a treat. It's about two young chaps, Jack and Algernon, who create these alter egos, both named Ernest, and that sets off this delightful chain reaction of hilarious misunderstandings and social chaos.
It really does. And for this deep dive, we're not just going to rehash the plot, although we will definitely give you all the juicy details. We really want to understand why this play hit such a nerve back then and why it still feels so relevant today. Like, what was Wilde really poking fun at under all that sparkling dialogue? We're also going to dig into some of the surprising circumstances surrounding its creation and its enduring popularity. And to guide our exploration, we're tapping into some really fantastic sources. There's this in-depth analysis by Dr. Jasvant Rathod, really comprehensive overviews of the story and its significance, breakdowns of the major themes. We even have some scholarly perspectives that are like grad student level, drawing on insights from Spark Notes, Lit Charts, Encyclopedia Britannica, the whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
So are you ready to unpack the layers of this brilliant comedy with me?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Okay, so the play opens with Jack Worthing arriving in London for a visit with his friend Algernon Moncrief. But Jack's got a secret double life going on right now.
Oh, absolutely. This is crucial to the whole setup.
Yeah. Out in the countryside where he's the guardian of young Cecily Cardew, he's just plain old Jack. But when he comes to the city to woo Algernon's cousin, Gwendolyn Fairfax, he transforms into this mysterious and alluring Ernest.
And it is that invented persona, that Ernest, that has completely captivated Gwendolyn. For her, the very name Ernest seems to embody an ideal of masculinity, everything she finds attractive.
The name has like magical powers or something. Okay, but meanwhile, Algernon, never to be outdone in the art of clever fabrication, he's invented his own little fictional world.
Oh, yes, the infamous Bunbury.
Bunbury, exactly. This imaginary invalid friend who gives Algernon a convenient excuse to escape any social obligation that doesn't suit him.
A stroke of genius, really.
Right. And as soon as Algernon discovers Jack's secret country life, and more importantly, the lovely Cecily, well, he hatches a plan.
Oh, of course he does.
He decides to pay a little visit to Cecily, posing as Jack's non-existent brother, Ernest, naturally.
Naturally. You can almost see the wheels turning in his mind.
And in a hilarious twist, Cecily, like Gwendolyn, has also developed a bit of a romantic obsession with the name Ernest. She's got all these fantasies about this imaginary Ernest.
It's almost as if the name holds some kind of irresistible power for these young women, a symbol of everything they desire in a partner.
It's like a magnet.
Exactly. But the real fun starts, the fireworks really begin when Gwendolyn decides to surprise Jack with a visit to his country estate and discovers Cecily, who is also apparently engaged to an Ernest.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Talk about a recipe for disaster.
pure comedic gold. The two women, initially at odds with each other, believing they're both engaged to the same man, they briefly join forces in their outrage. It's a delightful commentary on how fragile their romantic notions are, built on this shared deception.
So much for true love.
But hold on, we haven't even introduced the most formidable character yet. Lady Bracknell, Gwendolyn's mother.
Oh my gosh, Lady Bracknell.
Now, her interview with Jack when he seeks permission to marry Gwendolyn is absolutely legendary. It's a masterpiece of comedy. The sheer audacity of her questions about his family, his wealth, his social standing. Oh, it's pure wild.
And then, of course, there's that unforgettable revelation about Jack's origin story. Abandoned as a baby in a handbag at Victoria Station.
A handbag. It's almost too absurd to believe.
I know, right? And Lady Bracknell's instant rejection of him as a suitable match because of this unconventional beginning, well, it's one of the play's most iconic moments, and gets at something really important about what Wilde is saying about Victorian society. Lady Bracknell is like the embodiment of their obsession with class and lineage, this ridiculous focus on where you come from instead of who you are.
You're absolutely right. It's a brilliant satire of the anxieties of the upper classes in a time of rapid social change.
But then the plot thickens even more. Just when you think things can't get any more complicated, enter Miss Prism, Cecily's governess.
Ah, Miss Prism. A pivotal character indeed.
And through this series of, it's almost unbelievable, but also incredibly funny revelations, we discover that she's the one who mistakenly abandoned a baby, you guessed it, in a handbag at Victoria Station all those years ago.
And that baby, of course, is none other than Jack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So not only is the mystery of Jack's past solved, but we also find out his real name. And wait for it. His name is Ernest Moncrief, the very name that both Gwendolyn and Cecily have been swooning over.
What are the odds?
It's almost too perfect, right?
A wonderfully improbable truth revealed at the most opportune moment.
And so the play ends with the promise of not one but two happy marriages. Jack gets his Gwendolyn, and Algernon gets Cecily.
The perfect comedic resolution.
And then, just to top it all off, there's that final line where Jack proclaims the importance of being earnest. And it's just dripping with irony, given everything we've just witnessed.
Oh, pure comedic genius.
So that's the story in a nutshell. But what made the importance of being earnest such a smash hit back in 1895? And why does it still have us laughing over a century later?
Well, to really grasp its impact and its lasting appeal, we need to think about the context of late Victorian society. This was a time of incredibly strict social codes, like you mentioned, about behavior, about courtship, about marriage, about class. Everything was so rigidly defined.
It was all about appearances, right?
Exactly.
But Wilde's play, with its witty dialogue and outrageous situations, it holds up this hilarious mirror to those often unspoken rules. And it does it all with such charm and lightness.
It's never preachy or heavy-handed.
No, it's just pure fun. But beneath all that laughter, there's this very sharp critique of the hypocrisy and the superficiality of Victorian values.
It's a masterful satire. It's not just making fun of individual characters. It's targeting the very foundations of their social system.
The way they thought about love, about marriage, about status.
Absolutely.
It's pretty brilliant. And it's a great example of how comedy can be used to raise really important questions about what matters in life and what we value. And, the play's status as Wilde's masterpiece is totally deserved. The fact that it's still performed and loved all over the world, that says it all.
There's a timeless quality to its wit and social commentary that transcends any particular era.
Absolutely. So now let's dig a little deeper into some of the recurring themes and ideas that run through the play. I mean, the whole thing is basically built on lies and deception, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's the engine that drives the entire plot. Jack and Algernon, they're both living these double lives, creating these elaborate fictions, not only to woo the women they're interested in, but also as a way of, well, escaping the demands of society.
It's all fun and games until it all comes crashing down, right?
Of course. And that's where the real comedy comes from. The misunderstandings, the near misses, the increasingly convoluted web of lies that they have to spin to keep up appearances. It's wonderfully farcical. But in the end, as we saw, the truth does come out. And in this wonderfully topsy-turvy world that Wilde creates, it actually leads to a happy ending, albeit a very improbable one.
And then there's marriage. I mean, that's another central theme that Wilde just skewers brilliantly. Like, the reasons these characters want to get married, it's also superficial. Gwendolyn and Cecily are practically obsessed with the name Ernest.
They are.
They don't even really know the men behind the name.
Exactly. It's all about the image, the idea they've built up in their minds. And that's a critique, a satire of how marriage was often seen in Victorian times, more of a social and financial contract than a union based on genuine love and understanding.
Totally. And Lady Bracknell, with her relentless questioning of Jack's suitability as a husband, I mean, she embodies that attitude perfectly.
She's the ultimate symbol of social ambition and the pressure to marry well, according to the standards of the time.
Right. And then we have this whole fascinating exploration of identity. I mean, Jack starts out not even knowing who his parents are. He creates this whole Ernest persona, and that becomes so tied up with his sense of self, especially when he's courting Gwendolyn.
It's a really interesting question that Wilde is raising here. What makes us who we are? Is it our name, our social status, our family background, or is it something deeper? Jack's journey to discover his true identity is a big part of what makes the play so compelling.
And then, of course, there's the huge issue of social class, which just permeates everything in the play. Lady Bracknell's rejection of Jack because he was found in a handbag, that's just the most blatant example. But Wilde is constantly poking fun at the snobbery and the ridiculousness of the whole class system.
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere, from the way characters behave to the judgments they make about each other. Even Algernon's initial interest in Cecily seems to be tied to her fortune.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Which brings us to this whole thing about names. It's almost absurd how important the name Ernest is to everyone in the play. especially the women.
It's as if the name itself holds some magical power.
Right.
And the irony, of course, is that the men who are pretending to be earnest are anything but earnest in their behavior. Wilde is cleverly using this play on words to highlight the gap between appearances and reality.
He's saying that a name doesn't define who you are. It's your actions that matter. And speaking of things that matter, we can't forget the role of money, which is like the elephant in the room in so many Victorian comedies. It's driving so many of the characters' decisions, especially when it comes to marriage.
Oh, without a doubt. Lady Bracknell's constant worry about Jack's financial situation and social standing, Cecily's inheritance becoming a major factor in Algernon's interest in her, it all points to Wilde's critique of materialism and the way money influences relationships.
Right. And finally, there's the way Wilde just brilliantly satirizes the whole structure of Victorian society. The rules, the etiquette, the moral standards, it's all up for grabs.
He finds humor in the most unexpected places. Like, take Algernon's bun burying, this elaborate scheme he's created to avoid social obligations. Or the way all the characters are so obsessed with proper behavior while engaging in all sorts of ridiculous deceptions.
Like he's saying, look, beneath all this surface politeness, there's a whole lot of absurdity going on.
Exactly. He's peeling back the layers to expose the contradictions and hypocrisies at the heart of Victorian society.
Okay, now this is really interesting. Dr. Rathod points out that Wilde actually wrote The Importance of Being Earnest in 1894, while he was facing some pretty serious legal troubles.
Wow.
Can you imagine writing this hilarious, lighthearted play amidst all that personal turmoil?
It's incredible.
It speaks to his resilience, his incredible talent.
It really does.
And then there's that brilliant subtitle, A Trivial Comedy for Serious People.
A perfect encapsulation of the play's dual nature.
Right. On one level, it's this delightful farce full of witty banter and absurd situations. But it also has this deeper layer of social commentary, this critique of Victorian values and the human condition in general.
It's a play that works on multiple levels. You can enjoy it for its pure entertainment value, but there's also so much to think about if you want to delve deeper.
Exactly. So, to wrap up this deep dive, we've taken you through the twisty and hilarious plot of The Importance of Being Earnest. We've explored its lasting relevance as a satire of Victorian society and delved into those key themes: deception, marriage, identity, social class, the power of names, the influence of money, and the absurdity of social rules.
It's a play that has something to say about the human condition, about the masks we wear, the roles we play, and the things we value.
And it does it all with such wit and style.
It's a true masterpiece.
So here's a final thought for you to ponder as you go about your day. In a world where we're still so preoccupied with image and status, how much has really changed since Wilde's time? Do we still let societal expectations influence our choices in love and how we see ourselves?
It's a question worth asking.
It really is. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the brilliant and hilarious world of The Importance of Being Earnest.
It's been a pleasure.
And be sure to tune in for our next deep dive, where we'll be exploring another fascinating topic.
We look forward to seeing you there.
See you then.